Check, 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 check. All right, here we go. Very good. Welcome in. Did it go live? Yeah. All right, welcome in, everybody. It is me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. First show of the week. I know. I apologize for that. We were all set to do a show on Monday of this week, and then some storms rolled through and knocked our internet out, and it came back on pretty quickly, but then it went out again, and I decided, screw this. I'm not going to do this all day. And then the next day on Tuesday, we had more internet issues. It was all just sketchy, like weak, like really weak. Couldn't stream. My God, you're just sitting there watching TV on your phone. You're sitting there in the living room watching TV and you're on your phone because we can't do just one thing anymore. Is this mic way too hot? This mic seems way too hot. There we go. Yeah, a couple of days off. Things get a little screwy. And, I just hit something on my phone while I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, and it just spins and spins and spins. Well, I got pretty good yesterday. It was fine yesterday, and I probably could have done a show yesterday, but I decided not to. I don't know why. It was a weird thing. It was like a me day. It was like yesterday I just kind of went, you know what? What happened? Something occurred yesterday, and I was like, I don't remember what it is. Anyway, I'm here now, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see you here. Thank you, folks. First in the chat room, we like to reward an F1 style podium ceremony to the people who line up first, wait for the show to begin. They're the first people in the chat room. Today, we've got Hugh. Hugh is first in. Says Chicago Storms must be done. Yeah, I guess for now. I don't know. Let me see. We had some wicked weather over, not yesterday. Yesterday was actually gorgeous. But the two previous days were pretty wild. Let me see. What do we got here? We've got currently 85 degrees and partly sunny skies here on the beautiful south side of Chicago. Should expect a high temperature of 85 today. Looks like we've already hit our peak. That's good. That's not bad. Peter is first in. Congratulations to Peter. Second in, of course. Look at who we got. It's Peter. I'm sorry. Hugh is first in. Peter is second in. My bad. Peter, howdy-ho, Peter. How are you? I hope you're well. And third on the podium, 1, 2, 3, we've got Mikey D today. Hi, Mikey. Mikey says, howdy from Frisco. Well, howdy from the Midway Triangle. All right. How you guys doing? Let me say hi to the rest of the people in the chat room here before we get going, because we got a lot of stuff that we want to get into today. Got a lot of big stories. Stuff that I've been chewing on for 3 days. These are all, honestly, most of these stories I'm going to be talking about today, aside from maybe, some obvious things that happen today. I don't think there's much of that. But most of these stories, the big ones we're going to talk about today, I've had in my back pocket since probably Monday at the latest. So I'm loaded for bear, and we're going to talk about some things. Now, as I said, not everything, but some things just happened this morning, like the WNBA story. Did you see that? I got some thoughts on the WNBA. That's probably not what you're thinking. Yeah, it's probably. Anyway, the WNBA got themselves in a little bit of an oops today. Their own social media account seriously tripped over their own dick. Or whatever they got at the WNBA. Serious stuff, and just stupid. Just such an own goal. So we'll talk about that. And concerns one of the most provocative players in the NBA, of course, the Atlanta Dream star, Angel Reese, and Dallas-Fort Worth's own Paige Buckets. That's right. So they got themselves in some trouble. We'll talk about that. Also, I have been obsessed. I've been obsessed since last Saturday. Saturday is when I first, I think, got into this story. I was going to do a whole big thing on Monday. I'm going to just do regular reports on this. Why not? Why would I sit here and let Nancy Grace have all the fun? Are you guys following the Nolan Wells story? Oh, my God. First of all, I went from thinking something ain't right here to thinking, this is fairly easily explained, to now being back to something ain't right here. Nolan Wells is the 18-year-old kid who went out with a bunch of friends on the 4th of July to Horn Island there off the coast of Mississippi. And he never came back. They found his body, and so now there's an investigation. Did he just get drunk and die because he was partying, or did something nefarious happen? So I've been following that, and we'll get you all caught up to speed on that. The Nolan Wells situation. I want to talk about it because it seems to be a microcosm of America in this moment, of all the awful things about America. So we'll get into that. What else do we have? Oh, the Grand Haven, Dad. Geez, just across the lake. Grand Haven. One of my favorite places on the planet. If you've never been to Grand Haven or South Haven or the west side of Lake Michigan there in Michigan, just across from Chicago. It's across the lake from Chicago. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. American Pie. Ever seen the movie American Pie? Okay. This is where American Pie was set. Remember when they went to Stifler's mom's beach house? Yeah, it was Grand Haven. Terrible, terrible story out of Grand Haven where a father, recently unemployed, seems to have lost his nut and killed his entire family. And it is a lot of moving parts in this story, although not really. I mean, the Nolan Wells situation, that's got some moving parts. This one here, it's complicated, but it's also not complicated. And we're going to get into the details there. And I've got some thoughts on what was happening there. All right. So we'll talk about that as well. I've got a big jumbo fly. I got a big fat fly in there. Can you see him? You're going to see him. He's got a big giant fat. I'm going to get him. He's next to a rubber band, so that's going to maybe help him. Hold on, I'm going to get him. Got him! God damn! Got him! Woo! Got him! Big giant fat jumbo fly. All right, let's say hi to some people in the chat. We got a whole bunch of other stuff we're going to get into today. We got a dick of the day that is a major story here in the Chicagoland area. And this guy, it's a tragic dick of the day, but all of you people. There's a couple of stories that I'm going to talk about today that concerns the life of lake trash. We are in the summer. Lake trash. They're the worst people. They are. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And by the way, I call lake trash anyone with a boat. So I'm talking about somebody with like $1 million boat. You're lake trash. I don't give a shit. Ugh. All right. So we'll get into all that. Bunch of lake trash stories. Just bad things happen on boats. I can't. I'm not a big boat guy. I know I was lake guy for a couple of years, but I didn't really enjoy it. Maybe in the beginning, but anyway, we'll talk about that. Chat room. Let's go back to the chat room and say hi to everybody that we got here. Let me make sure I leave nobody untouched. It is the first show of the week. Oh, no, wait. Before I do that, yeah. Hold on. I got a lot more graphics, or not graphics, but just, banners that I'm doing now. I do want to thank our July heroes as we wind down July. July winds down. Another terrible month. Terrible month. You know what I've realized? For some reason, like a couple of weeks ago, Facebook just went, yeah, you're not allowed here anymore. Don't know why. Have no idea why. I don't post anything provocative on Facebook other than links to this show. So I've been locked out of my Facebook for in the show. Apparently there was some people watching on Facebook because I'm looking at the numbers and the tips and everything. So now I got to start a third Facebook page. Are you guys going to have this in your future? Like on Monday, I'm probably going to come in and go, hey, I got a new Facebook page. Like this one again, I don't know. I hate Facebook, but you know what I'm realizing? Facebook is an incredibly important utility for doing what I'm doing, because I'm talking about a number of people on today's show who in the past, I would have just gone and looked for their Facebook pages. There are a couple of people, civilians when they make the news. Nolan Wells is an example, the kid who died on 4th of July. The father in Grand Haven is another, right? I would normally just go and look for their Facebook page. I can't even do that anymore. There was a story I was reading about the Nolan Wells thing, and it linked to somebody's Facebook page who had posted this bit of information on Nolan Wells, and I couldn't link to it. I linked to it, and then I got the Facebook thing that said, your account is under review. I mean, it's been under review for a month. Oh, you people. All right, let's say hi to the chat room. Say hi to the chat room, but first let's thank our heroes one more time. The heroes of July, the people who kept us on the air. We limped. These are the people who did it. The rest of you did nothing. These are the people who did it. So thank you so much to Al, to Jen H, April, Heidi, Tracy, Maddie multiple times. Maddie, we're trying to get Maddie on today or this week, but she's busy. That's good. It's good that Maddie's busy. I don't know what's going on with her Twitch stream, but we're not going to have her on tomorrow. Or are we going to have her? No, we can't have her on tomorrow. So Monday. We'll do Maddie on Monday. Anyway, she's busy and that's good. I'm not busy. I mean, kid's going home in a week. I'm losing my kid in a week. That's probably nothing. Yeah, so I'm starting to get a little bit, like, oh my God. Okay. So, but I got a lot of stuff I got to do. When he leaves. Onward and upward. That's what I say. It's a whole new attitude towards life. Let's get at it. Let's get after it. Might be taking a new job and all that good stuff. I just have to, see how that works. Anyway, thank you to our July heroes. Mama B, did I mention Mama B? Did I mention Barnes? Did I mention Mikey D or Leslie C? They're our heroes for this week, this month of July. Thank you. If you want to join them, drop a little something in the Cash App or the Pugscast on Cash App or the Venmo, Pugs Moran. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's get the scroll of appreciation going. There we go. Scroll of appreciation. Rest of the chat room. Let's say hi to who's in here today. Nope, those are graphics. Boom. There's chat. Sorry. I'm doing a lot more. I'm trying to do more. I'm not good at it. I need a producer to do this stuff, but all right, we said thank you to our podium today. Hugh was first in, then we had Peter. He was second in. Mikey D. After Peter and Mikey D, we've got Taronda. Hi, Taronda. We've got Barney. Barney says howdy. April is here. There's April. Some people showing up. Jen says, oh my God. Oh my God, finally he's back. I'm having withdrawals. I hope you had a safe travels. But it's very nice. I didn't travel anywhere. I traveled in my mind somewhere. So I appreciate that. That really, just that, saying that, I don't know how she felt when she was typing that. I don't know what her intent was, but she typed that and I read that and that makes me feel really good. I wish there was 10,000 more of her. But the fact that there's one that says this means that you can exponentially grow. I can grow this. I'm connecting with somebody. Somebody enjoys this. Why won't it grow? All right. These are my problems. These are not your problems. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Let me... I don't think Maddie's going to be in here today because she's got a busy day. Or no, she doesn't. Oh, there's Maddie. Never mind. Maddie is here. There we go. She says it's definitely a something ain't right situation. I think his friends are somehow involved. She's talking about Nolan Wells. I'm going back and forth. Something is going on. But then again, I've been a dude. I know that something that now, well, we'll talk about it. My point is this. When a bunch of dudes go out to party on the 4th of July, a bunch of college dudes, and there's a boat involved, and they're going to a party cove, or in this case, Horn Island, there's a lot of things that after the fact, when put under a microscope, are going to look really sketchy that weren't at all sketchy in the moment. It's just the behavior of 18-year-old boys, and this is why I'm being distracted by a lot of the details, because you read something about what occurred, and you're like, oh, well, that reads poorly, but then you're like, oh, wait, but I've done that. I've told my friends, just leave me. There's a chick here I want to hit on. I've done that. Who hasn't? All right, so we'll get into that. But I'm glad to see that Maddie's into that story. Barney is in the chat room. My boy Barney says, slam their title in the door, I believe would be the female equivalent to tripping on your dick. Slam their titty in the door. That's it, titty. That's it, because I was talking about the WNBA and how I think their own social media, their league, their official social media account tripped over their dick this morning. But Barney's probably right. Slam their titty in the door. I like it. I'm going to use that from now on. Maddie would like everyone to know that she is streaming tonight. They're doing some Epstein deep dive stuff. So please promote. I will. Oh my God, I didn't know this. Boy, oh boy, this is its own podcast. Maddie says, lake trash. Yes, I used to be a manager at Sneaky Pete's in Denton. And it's awful. Oh, they're the worst. They're the worst because lake trash are just wealthy enough to be wealthier than the most of the people that they spend every day around. You know, lake trash are people who have the expendable income for boats and all the nonsense that having a boat will cost you $300 on a Saturday afternoon if you're just filling it up with gas. Then you got food. You got all kinds of other bullshit. Everything's always breaking on a boat. You can't get on a boat for a day of boating without spending $200 on new fucking ropes and clips, and we need a new preserver. It's exhausting. Anyway. Yeah, lake trash are the worst because they're just rich enough to know they're better than you, but not rich enough to actually be rich. Boat trash. All right. Jen is here. Jen says, what does Jen have to say? Ooh, I thought you were driving him home this week. No. Next week. But not driving either. At least I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. I'm not nervous. But like, I'm not sure. We're working on it. There's a plan. So no, not driving him home this week. Next week he's going back. School starts on the 11th or the 12th or something like that. So, all right, what do we need to do here? I want to run through the show pretty quickly today, so I don't think it's going to be an extended show. It's going to be no breaks, all gas. No breaks today. We're going to run right through. I've got stuff that I've got to do at the 2 o'clock hour, so please, let's buckle up and go for it. What do you say? All right, let's get started. Welcome, folks. Kelly Moore Memorial Studio. First things first, we're still at war, or are we? I don't know. Doesn't Congress have to? We're at war. What? We're at war. Things aren't going well. And by things aren't going well, gas prices are insane for us. But hey, if you're looking for a bright side to the war, I bring you this news, folks. Shell. You know, Shell gasoline, their profits are through the roof. This disruption has been nothing but amazing for the Shell Oil Company. And they're not alone, but let's talk about Shell. The energy crisis sparked by the war with Iran has prompted Shell Oil increase. Green up pointing triangle to produce at more than 100%. Anyway, Shell's producing more than 100% of what they typically produce. The British energy giant said that it ran its refineries at 102% of capacity during the second quarter, eking out more jet fuel and diesel to take advantage of soaring prices. They're taking advantage of soaring prices. They aren't trying to bring prices down. They're trying to capitalize on the moment. Why? Because we all expect the prices to go up because the media who is complicit in this bullshit has been telling us, well, gas prices are going to go up. This is going to affect gas prices. So the gas companies go, we don't really have to increase prices yet, but let's increase prices. I mean, people expect it now. So let's just go ahead and make that profit. Well, Shell did just that. The British energy giant said it ran its refineries at 102% of capacity during the second quarter, eking out more jet fuel and diesel to take advantage of soaring prices. In all assets, there are opportunities to take away some of the bottlenecks and produce above 100%. Shell Chief Executive Wael Sawan said in an interview on Tuesday, the challenge, he said, is to do it 90 days in a row. That's our challenge here at Shell, to keep cranking out profits. Shell, you think that the Shell Oil Company's product is gasoline or petroleum or diesel or jet fuel? You would think that. You're wrong. The Shell Oil Company's product that they create is their stock price. That's their product. It's the stock price, and fuck you and fuck me. Congratulations, though, to Shell, having a hell of a second and third quarter. What's the other big news happening around here? And we're not going to waste a whole lot of time on this, but the Todd Blanche situation, which I just can't wrap my head around. This is the guy. Stop all the political bullshit. We know who this guy is. He's the guy who visited Ghislaine Maxwell in prison, and then like a week later, she got moved to a club fed. That's who this guy is. And he wants to be the Attorney General of the United States. And lo and behold, he's got some problems. You got Cornyn, by the way, Texas. Nice job. Nice job, Barney. Barney probably voted for Cornyn like for 20 straight years because he was told to. And Cornyn, as it turns out, is as big a piece of shit as I've been saying for 20 years. Because now all of a sudden, Cornyn doesn't have re-election to worry. Well, he was worried about re-election. But Cornyn doesn't have anything. He's out. He's gone. So now he's standing up for what's right and wrong. Now he's going, well, Mr. President, I don't know about this whole tax abatement issue you've got here. Todd Blanche is a troubling. Now Cornyn is doing this. Same with Tillis, who isn't going to be, he's not running again, or he's not running, or he's not. He's done. Tillis and Cornyn are both done. Now, the interesting one is the potential incoming Senate Majority Leader, John Thune of South Dakota. John Thune is being threatened by the president right now to get his people in line so that they can get a confirmation of the very corrupt Todd Blanche. But Thune, who is in line to be the Senate Majority Leader after we figure out what's going on with Mitch McConnell, or is Mitch McConnell, what is happening? I don't even know what's happening right now. Lindsey Graham is gone. The Republican power structures, at least the one that Trump relied on for the first 2 years of his administration. It seems to be seriously in flux. So anyway, Thune is now shooting back at President Trump. Trump said John Thune better get his stuff in order if he wants to be the Senate Majority Leader, to which Thune just about an hour ago responded, he doesn't have a vote. President doesn't have a vote in that one. Ooh, catty, meow. What's going on? Pressure of the midterms. That's what's going on. All right. So that's what's happening in the now, if you will, okay? Shell has record profits. The war is still a clusterfuck. We're paying more for gas than we have in a very long time. And Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche. President says he's going to probably just withdraw the nomination. Probably he's going to, you know what he's going to do? He's going to wait till after the midterms when people like Tillis and Cornyn are gone, and then he'll resubmit the nomination. But there is a problem there. You can only be the acting attorney general, which is what Todd Blanche is right now. You can only be the acting attorney general for, I believe, 201 days or something like that. However, if you have submitted him, if you've submitted a name for congressional approval, as soon as you submit that name, the 201 time, clock time, whatever, for being the acting attorney general goes away. So now, because he's been submitted and Trump now doesn't want it to go to a vote, so he'll pull that back. There'll be no vote. This dude can be the acting attorney general as fucking long as they want. Exploiting loopholes is what they do best. And that's probably what's going to happen. So what do I always say about a construct, right? We all live in a construct. Call it the matrix, call it whatever you want, whatever you need to do to try and make it something that you understand. But for years and years and years, we said, you can't be attorney general in America unless the Senate confirms you. Turns out that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. All kinds of crazy shit can happen now between, today and the midterms. And the acting attorney general, without being confirmed by the Senate, is just going to be the dude of record on all of it. So it's all a construct. That's illegal. Well, really? Well, what if the people who enforce the law don't arrest me for it? Well, it's still illegal. No, it's not. There's no repercussions for it. Everything is a fucking construct. The Constitution of the United States is just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper until somebody tears it up. All right. How's that? That was fun. All right. Now let's talk about the Nolan Wells story, since that is the story that I'm most interested in. I don't know if you know much. Is this something that my people hear when I'm talking to you, the guys we get together? Hold on. I need a bigger computer. the Restream platform doesn't fit on this. It's like I'm constantly having to. All right. Let's move into our first story. I wanted to talk about this one. As I said in the beginning of the show, that I've had kind of an obsession with this story going on since 3:00 because I can relate to it. I can relate to almost every step of the story as I feel I've been there. Let's talk about Nolan Wells. No applause. We don't need to make this any more trivial than I would just naturally make it because I'm a trivial fool. Nolan Wells is an 18-year-old young man from Mississippi who went out on the 4th of July with a bunch of buddies. They went to a place called Horn Island. Horn Island is a, well, here, let's see. First of all, let me show you Nolan Wells, just so we can get a look at who this young man is. He's a high school football player. I believe he played football at some small, Mississippi University or something. I believe I've seen that reported. But here he is. All right, this young man right here. This is 18-year-old Nolan Wells, 4th of July, went out to Horn Island off the coast of Mississippi with a bunch of buddies. There he is walking on the dock. We've got all kinds of pictures of Nolan on that day. Okay, of course, Ben Crump is his attorney. We'll get into that as well. There he is right here. Look at him. Fine young man. Fine young man. Nolan Wells didn't go back to the mainland with his buddies who brought him out to the Horn Island party location. They just left him. They were just like, all right, we're out of here. And they went back. They were having some mechanical problems with their boat. A bilge pump had failed. So they had called for a sea tow. A bilge pump is what keeps the water out of the boat. And when it fails, water comes into the boat. And if it doesn't get addressed right away, you're sinking. That's how you sink. So the boat that was taking Nolan back, the boat he came on, had a bilge pump issue and was being serviced by a sea tow. We have the phone call, by the way, and we'll listen to the phone call that was made from the boat that Nolan Wells was on to the sea tow. And although it's fairly rudimentary and it's, yes, we've got a bilge pump. How long can you be here? You need to be listening to what's happening in the background, because in the background of this call is a whole bunch of, well, we got questions. We have more questions. All right. So here's Nolan. Let me see. There he is. Ocean Springs there in Mississippi. Again, fine young man, 18 years old. I don't know what the hell this is. All right. We'll leave, I don't love that picture. Let me find a better picture so that when I go into this, there we go. That'll be the picture that we'll use. Okay, there you go. Let's talk about Nolan Wells. Here. So as I said, this all started, no, I don't need that. Hold on. I got so many notes on this. This is going to be one of those. What is the latest here? Okay, so I guess the latest, the investigation into the mysterious death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells remains highly active, heavily scrutinized, and the subject of significant nationwide attention. Legal maneuvering and digital forensics are taking center stage as parallel state and independent investigators continue. The latest, within the last 24 hours, Nolan's mother, Christine Wells Wansley, issued sweeping subpoenas targeting major social media and communications platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. The family's legal team is seeking location tracking, IP log messages, and deleted data to reconstruct Nolan's final hours. So what's happening here is that the family is just simply trying to find when he was left behind. Did he text anybody? Was he, right? His group of friends appear to be splintering as they were unified in the first couple of hours following this situation. Again, they went to a party place on a lake, or not a lake, off the coast of Mississippi, Horn Island, on 4th of July. A bunch of dudes on a boat. They partied with a bunch of people. When it was time to go back, Nolan wasn't on the boat with them. They didn't bring Nolan back. They had Nolan's phone in the boat. By the way, this is another thing that a lot of people, I told you I'm lake trash. I was part-time lake trash for a period of time. I understand this. The fact that Nolan's phone was still on the boat was seen as evidence of foul play. That, they took his phone, so he couldn't. No, that is not why Nolan's phone was on the boat. Nolan's phone was on the boat because boat people know don't carry your phone with you because it'll fall in the water. Boats or phones, when you're at a lake or on an ocean or boating or whatever, phones are almost always stored, many times in a waterproof bag that gets stowed. And you know where it is. And if you need your phone, you want to sit down, have a drink on the boat, you go grab your phone, you can play on your phone then. But most people stow their phones. So for him to have left his phone on the boat doesn't strike me as weird, although a lot of people are seeing it as evidence of some kind of conspiracy. Let's see here. Reports indicate that while one of his hold on, let me get this right. Reports indicate that while one of Austin Wells' former friends in the boating group has stepped forward to cooperate and speak out, the rest of the social circle has retained defense attorneys and refused to speak out publicly. His body was founded like the next day, right? Court documents reveal a legal push forcing the friends on the boat to preserve all digital data. So that's local authorities there in the process of conducting their investigation have ordered, or a judge in Mississippi have ordered all of the witnesses there named on the boat, these people, to not delete anything from their phones. I don't know how effective something like that is. I mean, it's first of all, it's like 4 or 5. Well, it's July 4th. It's quite a bit of time later. Plenty of time for them to have destroyed anything. But I just don't know that there is anything for these kids to destroy. See, again, we are so thirsty in this country for this. It's the podcast phenomenon of true crime. We are always looking for the sinister, clever little, oh, wow moment in these stories. And people just sometimes die because the life in the world is a dangerous place. I don't think I honestly do. We're going to talk about the girl, Katie. We're going to talk about all of this stuff. I don't think anything sinister happened here. What I think happened here was that Nolan Wells got extraordinarily drunk, as a lot of young men might do while on the 4th of July partying. I think he got extremely drunk, dangerously so, to the point where maybe he should have been taken to a hospital, but his friends... this is where it gets complicated for me, because I don't think his friends acted appropriately. But now I think back, we have left friends at parties. A dude's drunk, just let him sleep. Did I get it? Did I get it quickly? Because I know the sound went off there for a second. Did I get it quickly? I feel like I got it quickly. Okay, very good. All right, let me give you the full timeline, because I wrote this down. Okay, so on July 4th, that's Saturday, this is when the disappearance occurred. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, Nolan, again, a football player, young man, 18 years old, he departed for a 4th of July celebration on a boat with a bunch of his buddies. That afternoon, the group arrived at Horn Island, a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Witnesses tell investigators that Nolan was drinking heavily. Of course they were. They were all drinking heavily. Probably. I mean, it's 4th of July. They're 18-year-old boys. They're fit. They're handsome. There's chicks involved. What do you think is going on? They're being reckless. They're being dangerous. This is what 18-year-old boys are. And yes, when the dust settles, you can look at it through a microscope and go, well, they did this wrong. They did that wrong. They are 18-year-old boys. They're going to do 75% of the things wrong. Around 3 p.m., Nolan is last seen alive on the north end of Horn Island, reportedly talking to a young woman named Katie. All right, now let's learn about Katie, okay? Because this is why his friends said that Nolan decided to remain behind on the island. He had met a girl by the name of Katie. Katie has now come forward. She is Katie McCormick. Sorry. Google just signed me out. They're just like, oh, you're in the middle of talking about this? All right. I know you just like 5 minutes ago made an adjustment. But we're going to sign you out now. Hold on. I don't know why it does this to me. It's like, there's got to be a way to stop that, right? There's got to be like something in that little gear thing on my computer. I can go into the gears and I can stop that shit from happening. Probably not, though. All right, where was I? Oh, we're talking about Katie. Okay, so let's look at Katie. This is Katie McCormick. She lives in the area, local kid. This is where they go to party. Here she is. This is the girl that Nolan Wells. Hold on. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, let's get rid of that one. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place right now. Screwed me up. Okay. All right. So, again, his friends said that Nolan stayed behind. He was drunk. They were all drinking. He stayed behind to hang out with a girl that he had met named Katie McCormick. All right. So, this is Katie. This is the girl that Nolan met. Okay. All right. So there you have it. That's young Katie McCormick. Apparently, Nolan, according to the friends, he met her and he stayed behind to be with her. Now, what is she saying? First of all, her friend or her sister, who she was there with, Katie was there with her sister's husband, and some of her sister's husband's friends. They did not know Nolan. This was not a hookup. Apparently, the connection to Nolan that we're hearing from Katie's side is that Nolan was extremely drunk. And Katie, who didn't know Nolan, noticed he was extremely drunk and became, I don't know, motherly and started kind of taking care of him. We have seen this, right? As a young person, you're out in a party, people are going nuts, and there's some dude totally fucked up and a strange girl is like rubbing his head. That's like a thing. So Katie McCormick's family and Katie McCormick's side, they're all saying that she was doing nothing but being a good Samaritan because she's a sweet girl. And please leave her alone. She had nothing to do with the murder. Katie arrived home safely. Katie, just about, within a couple of minutes, this all happened at the dock. Like, they met at the dock. Remember, Nolan Wells's friend's boat was experiencing a bilge problem on the way back from Horn Island. They'd spent all day drinking and partying. On the way back, about 3:00 in the afternoon, he noticed water coming in, and that's when the bilge pump thing happened. And they said, we got to head back. We got to get back right now. So they started to leave. And this is where Nolan was drunk, apparently at the dock, and met Katie. This wasn't a hookup. They're trying to make it sound like, for whatever, sinister reasons, clickbait. They're trying to make it sound like this was some kind of hookup and that he stayed behind and they made out in the sand dunes. That is not what happened, at least not according to Katie McCormick's family or Katie McCormick's sister or the people Katie McCormick was there with. They're like, no, she was just being nice to this real sloppy drunk guy. There was no hookup. So why then did the friends present it to investigators as if this was something more than just, a young woman being nice? Okay, hold on. Let's go back to, so we've seen Katie. We've got that. Now I want you to listen to something. Now, do you remember Katie's family is saying that he was just really sloppy drunk and she was concerned about him? That's why she met Nolan, not because they were hooking up. And remember, the friends are saying, no, he was fine. He stayed behind with the girl, right? That's what his friend said. So now let's listen to this phone call. This is why I say I keep going back and forth on this story. On the one hand, I think, my God, I've been in this circumstance. Your buddy gets sloppy drunk and he's being an asshole. And you're just like, all right, fine, stay here. He'll find a ride home, right? Yeah, he's fine. He's with that girl. I've done that. But I don't know that I've done it, but I've been in groups where that decision has been made, where we're just going to leave one behind. We ain't fucking Marines. I got to get home. So I found that fairly easy to believe, but then I heard the phone call. To the towboat. And that's what this is right here. Let's listen to this. This made me change. I don't know what's happening with these friends that it seems like their story is falling apart. All right, here you go. So this is apparently during the call to the towboat. Remember, the bilge pump was failing. They needed some help. So they called a towboat, and you will hear the guy who is, I guess, in charge of the boat, right? Probably his family's boat. You can hear this guy talking to the towboat dispatch, but listen to what's happening in the background, okay? The background, there is obviously something that needs to be explained. Here we go. Okay. Well, hold on, let me make sure we got the sound here. Sound all the way up. There we go. All right, so this is in the background. Sure he's dead, says one male. Sure he's dead. Is he dead? Says a female. We would think they're talking about Nolan, right? Who, according to them, stayed behind of his own volition to hook up with the lovely Katie. Katie's people say He didn't stay behind to hook up with Katie. Katie saw him on the dock being all sloppy, and she started taking care of him for a few minutes, and that's the extent of it. We're being told. Again, this is all coming down to this point of just what sounds based on our own life experience, what sounds like the most likely situation that occurred. Nolan, male, sure he's dead. Is he dead? Says the girl. Nolan, another friend screams. Oh my God, says the female. Nolan, don't die, says the male. By the way, this is all in the background of a dude trying to give, longitude and latitude to a sea towing company.
Sea tow assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir?
All right, so in the background, wake the fuck up.
Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
What? All right, there you go. That was Nancy Grace broke that. Nancy Grace is back. So I said, why she get to have all the fun with these horrible stories? All right, so we just heard that. There's clearly something going on with Nolan. We could hear them saying Nolan. I got headphones on. I know it's easier for me to hear, but you can clearly hear them say, Nolan, don't die. So why then the next day when the family of Nolan Wells called police and called the friends and why then did these very same people say, oh no, he chose to stay behind. He met a chick and we just left. There's all kinds of internet rumors going on about what soap opera plot was happening here with this friend group, and most of that has been debunked. Some of it says, no, there was a love triangle between Katie and the guy who was on the phone talking to he's the guy whose family owns the boat. There was a love triangle, and he didn't like that Nolan was hooking up with Kate. That's nonsense. That's been debunked. There was no love triangle, at least not between Nolan, Bart. I think Bart is the name of the guy whose boat it was. Nolan, Bart, and Katie. No, Nolan didn't even know Katie. She just saw a sloppy drunk kid and went, are you okay? Now, until that recording of the phone call, here's what I believed happened in this story. I believe that a bunch of dudes went out on 4th of July. They got super fucked up. I mean, memories, right? In 15 years, these guys are supposed to be sitting around a bar somewhere going, hey, remember that 4th of July at Horn Island? Holy shit, did you get fucked up, dude? Oh, I don't know how I survived, right? That's how it was supposed to be. Well, they didn't survive. They didn't all get out alive this time. I thought that it was just friends, dudes, young, immature college kids behaving recklessly, and something tragic happened. Because that's what happens all the time. It's called fitting of the herd or whatever. But, we lose people all the time from our friend groups. Oh, you got wasted and decided to cliff jump. Yeah, I didn't make it. I mean, people... So that's what I thought. I thought nothing to see here. They're trying to hype this up. Then Ben Crump gets involved. And Ben Crump is a troublemaker. And Ben Crump doesn't make anything better. Ben Crump makes everything worse. And all of a sudden, this became, because of Mississippi's racial history and because Nolan was black and his friends were all white, this became, at least according to Ben Crump, analogous to a lynching. So now what we have isn't just a mystery story of somebody who died where we're all just looking to find the facts and, make a great Dateline NBC episode. No, instead of that, now we've got a national race debate again. Because, Ben Crump waited to appear yesterday in front of the NAACP in Chicago to announce the findings of his independent autopsy, which questioned The coroner down there in Mississippi. Do you want to know why he questioned the coroner in Mississippi? Because the coroner had removed sections of the neck and throat. So when Crump and Nolan's family, and God bless Nolan's family, I'm a Ben Crump critic. I am not a family of Nolan Wells critic. So the family wanted a second autopsy. And when the body was received by the independent pathologist or whatever it is, the independent medical examiner that the family hired through Ben Crump. But Ben Crump is, if you don't know who Ben Crump is, just Google him. He's been like everybody's attorney. Michael Floyd, Trayvon Martin, I don't know, whoever it is. Ben Crump has been around it. Ben Crump may have represented neither of those two, but you know what I mean? That's who he's known for. He's a rabble rouser. So the second autopsy that was done independently by the family said that it was inconclusive because there were portions of the neck and throat that were missing. And in front of the NAACP in Chicago yesterday, Ben Crump made it sound like that this was clearly some kind of cover-up by the Mississippi coroner's office or whatever, the state of Mississippi, and that they were hiding the neck and throat because we are trying to prove what? A lynching? What are you trying to prove? All right, so he said that in front of the NAACP. As it turns out, that is incredibly common. That is normal, okay? The investigation continues on the part of the state of Mississippi. They are the ones who got first crack in the body, and they are the ones who apparently are looking into whether or not there was asphyxiation or strangulation, and to do that, they removed part of the throat. It does not necessarily, according to Ben Crump, as he implied, it does not necessarily mean that there is inherent corruption in the process. It just means that that is a part of their investigation that they are going to now take a closer look and see if there could be. By the way, there was no broken bones. There was no soft tissue issue, no bruising. There was a small red mark on the back of his head. And they are investigating. Toxicology is another thing that Ben Crump's independent coroner didn't release toxicology because obviously that would show that he was fucked up. So they didn't release that, and the medical examiner is not releasing toxicology either. I understand that toxicology takes a long time, right? So they may not even have it yet. Ben Crump's presence in this thing has made it awful and is going to turn it into another one of these race issues. This is not a race issue. I'm looking at this and they're like, well, it was a black guy who went out with a bunch of white dudes. Yeah, his friends. Seems like they had a fairly, integrated friend group there. Like most people growing up in America in 2026, regardless of where you are, you probably have an integrated friend group. My son's friend group looks like the goddamn United Colors of Benetton ads from the 1980s. Ben Crump bringing this segregated white kids don't hang out with black kids. And if they do, it's because the white kids are trying to take advantage of the black. That's bullshit. And that's what I resent about this story as I see it developing. Now, could two things that I'm opposed to be both correct? Or could one thing? All right. So I'm opposed to the idea that Ben Crump is saying that this is racial. I don't think this is racial. I think this is dumb kids, right? But Ben Crump's got he's got a, I don't want to sound like somebody who would be on the air after James Parker on WBAP, but there is an industry of race baiting. Al Sharpton is one of these guys. It occurs on the right or on the white side too. I mean, there's race is very divisive and it's effective. Divisive is the word for it's effective. It is effective for people who are looking to, either make hay, and in this digital world of clicks and forwards, race, sex, violence, all of those things. Those are what we are turned on by. We like it. Let me establish this. I do not see this as a race thing. Okay? So now let's move on from that. So Ben Crump and all that, I know what Ben Crump is doing. I do not see this as a race thing. Now, what also can be true about that? Doesn't have to be racial. But these kids can be fucking in trouble. I think these kids did the wrong thing based on what I'm hearing in that phone call that we just heard, the phone conversation between Bart, I believe his name is, who was in charge of the family boat, calling the CTO people saying, I've got a bilge pump failure. And in the background, we hear what clearly sounds to me like Nolan Wells dying. So why didn't they call 911? Why is he calling CETO? There are people saying, don't die, don't die. Don't you make a 911 call? Or isn't somebody on the phone to 911? Did somebody on that boat say, don't anybody call an ambulance? Did anybody suggest they should call an ambulance? It is clear to me that Nolan Wells was in obvious distress at the time of the call to the sea towing company. So why did they leave him behind? Right? This is the crime. I don't think it's a racial crime. I don't think it has anything to do with him being black. I don't think it has anything to do with the generational history of corruption in the state of Mississippi, especially when it comes to race crime. Those things can all be true, but they don't have to apply to this story. And I've been looking at this story very closely, and I do not see race as an aspect. What I see is a bunch of scared, privileged. These kids were privileged. I don't know about Nolan, but I know that the kid with the boat, it's a nice boat. I think these kids panicked. I think they panicked and they was like, let's just leave him. We don't want to take any response. Your lack of willingness to take responsibility in this moment led to your friend's death. So yeah, you kids are pieces of shit. Probably not racist. This is not a lynching. But those kids are pieces of shit. We heard that phone call. We heard who made the decision. And they were on the boat leaving once they got the bilge pump situation fixed. They were on the boat, and they were probably on the boat for 20 minutes, 25 minutes before they got back to the mainland. What did they talk about? Were there people in that friend group going, we did the wrong thing, we did the wrong thing, or were they all, well, he'll be fine, somebody will take care of him? Let's see here. We did that one. So what else do we have here? Let me see. What is the latest here? I've got the family's rebuttal. That's Katie's family, the family rebuttal. Katie's sister, Gracie McCormick. Again, Katie is the girl that the guys on the boat used as a scapegoat to explain why they didn't bring him home. Katie's family says, or at least her sister Grace spoke to, she heavily disputes the friend's narrative. So the sister, Gracie, is like, what? They weren't hooking up. Gracie refuted the friend's narrative. Gracie stated that Nolan and Katie only spoke very briefly. Katie assumed that Nolan was wrapping up to board the very boat he arrived on. This was on the dock. He was extremely intoxicated, and Katie was making sure that he was all right. That comes from the sister. That's from Gracie. So the dude was fucked up, and there was another girl on the boat. There's probably 50 people walking on the dock, right? Going to different boats. And she's like, hey, are you okay? Gracie clarified that it was physically impossible for Nolan to have hitched a ride home with her and Katie. Katie was on the island with a completely separate group, and she ultimately left Horn Island with her brother and his fiance. Her sister, Katie's sister, noted that Katie assumed that the friends were taking care of him. By the way, now Katie's getting all kinds of death threats. Katie, this poor girl, Katie McCormick, who we looked at, sweet little girl, her big crime was that she saw a stranger in distress and decided to pay him a little attention. And now, because she just moved on and assumed that his friends would do the right thing and went off with her sister and her brother and his fiance and went home like normal people, now she's being dragged. Now she's famous. Now me, some insignificant live streamer, is showing her picture. All she was nice. She's getting death threats. The McCormick family states that they have fully cooperated with law enforcement and Nolan's family. Katie herself has not made any public statements or televised appearances. Some of the stories that were debunked, the jealous boyfriend theory. This one, the highly viral rumor, suggested that Katie was romantically linked to Bart Edmondson Jr., that's the man whose boat they were on. They didn't know each other. They didn't even know each other. They're from like totally different. They're just strangers who use the same marina. Several social media accounts have claimed that Katie explicitly saw Nolan board a different boat or that she tried to bring him back to his friend's boat. Public investigative files and family statements do not support this. She simply walked away. assuming his friends were taking care of him. And can't you see that? Can't you see that? Like a crowded 4th of July, people are having fun. This kid's sloppy drunk and he's falling down, and his friends are on the boat and they're like, let's go. We've got a problem. We got to fix this problem. And she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Here, sit down. Are you okay? That's it. And now suddenly her life is turned upside down. All right. Many posts have circulated claiming that Katie publicly called Nolan's friends liars. Katie has not said anything official. She's made no statements. She hasn't refuted anything that the friends have said. Although her sister has, Gracie. Gracie's like, no, the friends are liars. All right, this is the Nolan Wells story. I'm sure that it's going to develop ... And Ben Crump is making a big name for himself. He's at the center of all of these things. Again, I could be wrong. We'll see. I mean, fog of war. We're in the middle of this investigation. We don't know what they found. But just looking at this situation, I don't see this as a racial situation. And I certainly don't see it as, well, as another indication of, just the rank and generational racist attitudes of the state of Mississippi. I don't see that as that. I don't. What I see it as is a young boat trash people, privileged young men being put in a real world situation with very serious repercussions, and they made the wrong choice, and now someone is dead. They fucked up because they were afraid to do the right thing. That's what I think this is. I think somebody probably thought, you know what, he's fucked up. Just leave him on the dock. It's not our problem. We didn't get him drunk. Or is it their problem? I think you have an obligation. I think you have an obligation, a moral obligation for sure. Whether or not there's a legal one, I don't know. All right, there you have it. That's the Nolan Wells death story. Let's move on to Grand Haven, Michigan, just across the lake here. This is another disturbing story. Just across the lake here from where I am in Chicago sits the beautiful, beautiful Grand Haven, South Haven area. It's just outside Grand Rapids. It's like the wealthy neighborhood of Grand Rapids. It's on the lake, big mansions on the lake. If you're unfamiliar with the area but have seen American Pie, then you're not unfamiliar. American Pie is set, or supposed to be set in this area. Stifler's mom's beach house is in Grand Haven, which is where this terrible, terrible situation occurred. So here's the story. Hold on, give me a second here. It's the story of Christopher Karalkowitz. We're going to call it Karalkowitz. Let me show you old Chris Karalkowitz. Again, buckle up. This is, I don't know why I'm in one of these kinds of moods now, but all right, so here we go. Look at this lovely family. Lovely family. He's got 2 adopted daughters. Look at him. He's got 4 regular. He's got a beautiful wife. He murdered them all. Then murdered the 2 family dogs and burned the cats alive. That's who this guy is. That's him. This happened in Grand Haven, Michigan. There they are, the lovely couple. There's the police response. And there they are. Look at this family. Look at this family. All right, let's get into the details here. So this is what happened over there in Michigan. It's a dad. Totally normal. Totally normal. When I talk to you about people not being up on their mental health and all of that good stuff, this is what I'm talking about. You can look as normal as the day is long, and you are fucking crazy. This guy's obviously crazy. Let me give you the details on what happened here. Let's see. The horrific case being classified by authorities as a family annihilation. 47-year-old Christopher Karalkowitz. I'm going to say Karalkowitz. I've grown up with a lot of Eastern Europeans here in Chicago. I know the Polish. I know how Polish names are. I'm going with Karalkowitz. Karalkowitz. I'm going with Karalkowitz. Christopher Karalkowitz. Why am I even making light of it? Why? Because this is such a dark and horrible story that I don't know how else to process it. 47-year-old Christopher Karolkowitz shot and killed his wife and their 6 children, intentionally set multiple fires inside their home, and then died by suicide in Grand Haven Township, Michigan. Now, this happened last Friday, just 1 week, well, less than a week ago. What we know now is that this guy lost his job in early July. So sometime around the 4th of July, this guy lost his job. He was the vice president. He was the national vice president for marketing for the American Heart Association. A fairly good job. A fairly nice area. He lives in a very nice area right there on Lake Michigan. It's like living in Malibu, in the Midwestern Malibu kind of a thing. And look at this family, right? I mean, this family looks great. Perfect. It's what you shoot for. They even got the 2 adopted Asian kids, which, you know, every yuppie wants that. He lost his job in early July. Christopher Karolkowitz's employment ends with the American Heart Association, where he had worked remotely from home as the national vice president of sales and marketing. On Thursday, July the 23rd, this was just 1 week ago today, Christopher intentionally starts fires in multiple locations across the house. That's Friday. Thursday, investigators believe the fatal shootings of his family began during the night. Christopher used a registered handgun to execute his family and pets. That's a good thing. He was all legal. Nothing illegal, but he registered. State. He's a good, responsible handgun guy. That is, I get it. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, that's what's going to happen. Mental health or handguns. We got to do one or the other. Got to do one or the other, people. None of you Republicans want to fund mental health, so I guess we just do whatever we do. On Thursday is when they believe that the shootings began. On Friday, in the morning on Friday, what did he get a good night's sleep? Friday morning, Christopher intentionally sets fires in multiple locations across the house before turning the gun on himself. Authorities initially received 911 calls about a smoky smell in the Riverwood subdivision area, but find nothing obvious upon arriving in the neighborhood. But they couldn't even find the house. After additional emergency calls from neighbors, first responders returned to find heavy smoke emerging from the home. Firefighters entered and discovered the 8 bodies. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office released forensic autopsy results confirming all 8 individuals died of gunshot wounds prior to the fire. The victims here include the 39-year-old wife, Amanda Mandy Karolkowitz, who worked as a devoted substitute teacher at Peach Plains Elementary School. Their 6 children, ranging in age from 5 to 15, consisted of 4 biological sons, age 5, 12, 11, and 5, and 2 adopted daughters, both aged 11. Are they sisters? They look like they could be, right? That's pretty great. Pretty great. They do. They look like sisters. Look at the 2 little Asian kids. Did they adopt sisters? What a nice family. What a nice family. The perfect family. But there were people who knew this family who at some point in the not too distant past had been in an argument with their own family and pointed to this family and said, "Aren't they wonderful? Why can't we be perfect like them?" Branding. Look at this perfect branding. Oh, that family's great. They had some marital problems. Again, remembering he lost his job. They're not sure that the wife knew about the job. There's conflicting reports there that either the wife knew that he had lost his job or that she didn't. I don't know. It seems like there are more that are saying that she didn't, that he was keeping it from her. But when you work from home, right? I mean, it's pretty easy to keep that you lost your job because you're just playing on the computer. It's probably what he was doing. This guy's an a-hole, by the way. Let's now talk. Well, obviously he's an a-hole. I mean, look at what he did. But before that, he was an a-hole. Do you want to know how he met his beautiful wife, Amanda? Yeah, she was his intern, and he was married, and he hooked up with Mandy, the woman we see here in the picture with their beautiful children. He was married. Mandy was much younger. He ditched his wife, and then he hooked up with Mandy, and they got married, and then they had the perfect life until he hooked up with his new intern and started dating. Yeah, Yeah. To the extent now that we understand that Mandy, over the course of the last 5 years, has been writing on Reddit about her husband's infidelities. So, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit who's all about the branding and looking like he's perfect, but doing whatever the fuck he wants because there's no authenticity with him. Just cosplaying as a normal person when it's apparent now that he was just an absolute madman and a monster waiting to erupt. He murdered his children. And they look nice. That looks like a nice family. Following the tragedy, local journalists have uncovered multiple Reddit posts from an account verified to belong to Amanda. Writing under the username Mandy, she detailed a turbulent marriage. She revealed that her husband had engaged in an affair with young women in the workplace, mirroring how the couple initially met themselves years prior. In her post, she noted she felt trapped and stated, "I love my kids more than I hate my husband right now." Boy, is that common in a relationship, right? I've heard that a million times. Hell, I may have even felt that way a time or two. Authorities noted there were no previous domestic violence calls to the address or contact with police, while a distinct motive has not been finalized. Experts highlight that sudden job loss and severe financial stress are primary tipping points in family annihilation cases. That's a new term that we have. I've never heard that before this story. Family annihilation. That's now a category. It's a new category. Progress. All right. Horrible, horrible story. The world is a terrible, terrible place. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to do here today? Oh, well, here's a story that I wanted to talk about. Was it Monday or when? I guess yesterday is when this came out. I would have talked about it yesterday, but hold on. I gotta make sure I have everything. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Let's talk Tony Romo DUI. Yeah, Tony Romo got a DUI. When was it? When was it? Was it over the weekend or whatever? I don't know when it was, but we first started finding out about it this week, and then yesterday we got the body cam, man. Look, I'll tell you, my son and I. My 17-year-old son, when we first heard this story, we both looked at each other because my son and I are big fans of Midwest Body Cam. I don't know if you watch body cam videos on YouTube, but my 17-year-old son and I love Midwest Body Cam. It's the best. And it's all from Wisconsin. And if you understand Wisconsin, I mean, look, I know that we all talk about Florida. Wisconsin. Wisconsin is low-key the most fucked up state in the country. Those people up there are insane. Midwest Body Cam, okay? So anyway, when the Tony Romo thing happened, my son and I looked at each other and went, this is going to be on Midwest Body Cam because everything is in Wisconsin. And sure enough, Midwest Body Cam. Tony Romo. Although we're going to watch it from WFAA in Dallas. I almost said Detroit. So Romo, who lives in Wisconsin, he's born and raised just sort of midway between Milwaukee and Chicago. His father, Tony's dad, was a business partner with one of the 85 Chicago Bears in a construction concern. So Tony's in the area and went to Eastern Illinois University. He's an area guy. So for him to be drunk driving around Wisconsin, that's his feel good. He's used to that. He's playing in a golf tournament and apparently on his way to visit his grandparents, which is adorable. And like right in that moment, I was like, oh, it pleases me that Tony Romo's grandma and grandpa are still alive. I think that's awesome. But he was drunk. And we're going to watch the video. But so maybe some of you guys remember years and years ago, before he was Tony Romo, when he was just the third string quarterback. I think he was behind Chad Hutchinson. I don't know. He was not. Nobody expected Tony Romo to become Tony Romo, okay? But anyway, at that time, I kind of socialized with him a little bit. My partner, Kelly, was dating an offensive lineman, and we hung out with a bunch of offensive linemen. And yes, backup quarterbacks hang out with offensive linemen. So I got to know Tony a little bit. Famously, once he did emerge as, the new starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Remember when he was dating Carrie Underwood? Was it Carrie? I think it was Carrie Underwood. He was dating Carrie Underwood, and there was a situation where he asked me to. We were at the Ghost Bar. All right, quick Tony Romo story. So, do you remember Tony Romo liked this band, this like weird, goofy comedy metal band? And he brought him to town in Dallas. And they did a show at the Gillies. Yeah, Tony Romo brought him to town. And somehow through Big Dick Hunter, I got roped into going to that thing. And so we're there and we're hanging out and we're having fun. And after the show, we're all in the backstage area. After the show, Tony Romo says, hey, we're all going to the Ghost Bar. I've got like this room. The Ghost Bar is a fancy bar on top of the W in downtown Dallas. And I'm like, all right, I'll go. So we go to the Ghost Bar and we're all just kind of hanging out in this little VIP area. And I'm sitting on a couch right next to Tony Romo. I should say I'm not sitting right next to Tony Romo. There's a hot chick sitting next to me. And then there's Tony Romo. And the hot chick is all about Tony Romo. No big surprise. She's not even looking at me. But she is all over Tony. And in this moment, you can see from the entrance of the Ghost Bar, Tony had like a gigantic, we'll call him a security guy. He was like 7 feet tall. He was freakishly tall and thin. And you could see him in the crowd, moving through the crowd from the entrance. And I think that was by design. So we're sitting on this couch, hot chick, Romo, me, my son's mother was right here. And all of a sudden, this dude comes walking through the crowd, and you can see him, I guess. I didn't notice him, but Tony did. Tony immediately stands up, right? Remember, Tony's sitting next to some girl, and he's flirting with her, and she's hanging all over him and everything. Tony immediately stands up, because standing right behind this big, giant dude moving through the crowd is Carrie Underwood. Tony's girlfriend showed up at the Ghost Bar, and Tony had to dust the girl. There was a girl, she was hanging all over him. So anyway, Tony stands up, and he then turns to me, and he goes, will you switch seats with her? And I go, yeah. So now it's me, the chick that was hanging all over Tony Romo, and my wife at the time. A little weird. But anyway, then Carrie Underwood comes in, and Tony Romo acted like there was no big deal. Like he wasn't just hanging all over another girl. Yes, I was complicit. They didn't make it. That relationship failed. And I got a front row seat as to why that probably didn't work out. Anyway, Tony Romo is a retired football player, and that means he's a drunk. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've known a lot of retired football players. I've known a lot of guys who played 10 years in the league, and now they're 37 years old, and all they do is golf every day, and they are drunk at noon every day for the rest of their lives. That is what pro athletes do. And it looks like Tony Romo is that too. I think Tony Romo is probably imbibes a lot. He does nothing but golf. Drinking alcohol and being drunk while golfing is a part of the social aspect of the sport, and it's why people love it so much. It's not a sport. So Tony Romo was at a charity golf outing in Wisconsin, golfed in it, got in his car, decided probably going to take his grandma and grandpa out to dinner, which is lovely. It's just a lovely thought. And he gets pulled over. All right, let's watch the Tony Romo body cam video. We'll break it down. I have questions. Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. All right. Again, this isn't the Midwest body cam version. This is going to be from WFAA, which I just feel is more appropriate. All right. Hold on. This ad. There we go. Thank you, YouTube. All right, let's start it from the beginning. Just give me a second ad. Here we go.
Warning. Yard work.
Skip that. All right, here you go. It's not a big deal. Well, oh, I know, pearl clutch. It's a huge deal anytime anyone drives drunk. All right, it's a huge deal when somebody driving drunk kills somebody. But I would argue that 99.9% of people who drive with a little buzz on make it home just fine. All right, here's Tony. Look, all I'm saying is everybody has done it. I don't take a James Parker type view of this, which James Parker thinks driving drunk is fine, which I'm like, what? First of all, James Parker of WBAP afternoons at 2:00, he is sober. The worst driver I have ever driven with. He's terrible. Terrible. And now on top of that, he's like, yeah, I can have a few drinks and drive. No, you can't. Anyway, here is Tony Romo. Tony Romo being pulled over in Wisconsin.
Unsafe passing on the right, cutting across the gore. Obviously, the gore?
Yes.
It's the marked area.
Gotcha.
Where are you coming from?
Well, I live in Dallas, so I came in to visit
grandpa, so we're here. I'm going to meet them, but I got the gore.
You got the what?
The gore, you said?
All right, so she is telling him, I guess the specific technical name of that yellow line is a gore, and he's being pulled over because he violated the gore. I've never heard this term before. Neither has Tony, apparently, because Tony is now using it like it's something new.
But I got the gore. So I came in to visit grandpa, so we're here. I'm going to meet them, but I got the gore.
You got the what?
The gore, you said?
Yeah.
That's what it is for you cross it?
Yep.
Yes. I got what you're saying.
And you were coming from Grandma and Grandpa? What did you say? It's really hard to hear you, dude.
I can't hear you.
He's drunk. He's drunk. I mean, he's not sloppy, right? But he's drunk. He's like, what? Look at that stupid drunk guy smile. He's been drinking.
Yeah, I know. We got to basically yell at each other,
I
right?
feel like I'm yelling at you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Where are you coming from?
The golf course. And I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa.
Okay.
Again, that's adorable. That is Grandma and Grandpa. They're still alive.
All right. I'll take a driver's license from you.
You got it. What's your name?
Deputy Court.
So I want to meet Grandma and Grandpa, and I passed the gore, which is...
All right, so I'm going to meet, I think he's out. So I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa, and I passed the gore.
The place you're talking about.
Which is the place you're talking about.
I got it. You're saying I went over the white line.
So the white line is the gore? I've never heard that before.
What's a good phone number for you?
No, we almost got Tony Romo's phone number.
Can you show me at the slow and report right now?
All right, there's no good realization here where she's like, this is Tony Romo. I don't even know if she knows who Tony Romo is.
All right. How many drinks have you had?
What's he driving? That a Jeep? Driving like a cool-ass Jeep? Probably a rental.
You're coming from a golf course?
I played in a golf tournament in the Wisconsin State Amateur.
Okay.
So it's like
Played in the Wisconsin State Amateur.
USJ event.
Okay.
What's a USJ event? I don't know what any of this means.
All right. I'm going to run you through some fields.
What's that mean?
Field sobriety tests. Are you willing to take any field sobriety tests?
Call my lawyer.
All right, so this is where, can't do this. I know you think you should be able to because, you're a wealthy white man in America. But when the cop tells you got to step out of the car, you don't get to go, hold on, I'm going to call my lawyer. I'm going to call my agent. We find out. I know, officer, I know that you're telling me to step out, but in this moment, I am a privileged, wealthy white man in America. I shall be calling my attorney. Should have yanked his ass out of the car. Fuck you, put the phone down. Let's go. We're doing an investigation.
I'm sorry? Yes, you're denying to step out of the vehicle pending field?
I'm just going to call my lawyer.
Okay.
So she's like, you're denying stepping out of the video. And he goes, nope, I'm just going to call my lawyer. See, that is privilege. Nope, but I am going to no, you're not. No, you're not. We're going to take a club. We're going to break the window and we're going to drag your ass out the way we've seen a million other times with a million other people. But not for Tony. Tony gets to wait and call his attorney.
Step out of the vehicle.
I'm going to call him.
Nope, step out of the vehicle.
I'm not allowed to.
Step out of the vehicle.
So you're going to take me
Field.
He can't believe in this moment that he's not allowed to call his attorney, that he can't believe that he has to drop everything and just listen to the commands of the officer. That is the social contract that we sign when we agree that we're going to have police. Okay? We agree to that social contract. You tell them to get out of the cop tells you to get out of the car, you get out of the car. It's not, let me see if my lawyer is going to override you on this. Let me call my lawyer and see if he tells me to not do what you're telling me. That doesn't happen. But it's only a guy like fucking Tony Romo who thinks that's how it works.
Sobriety test.
I like
I'm allowed to call my lawyer, right?
You're not.
I'm not allowed
Nope,
to.
step out of the vehicle.
By the way, I'd also like to point out that I'm seeing a whole bunch of ass-kissy bullshit Dallas-based media guys, especially sports guys, who are defending Tony. They're like, whoa, he's got a bad back. Whoa, they didn't let him talk to his lawyer. Fuck you. Tony's not going to suddenly show up on your Dallas-based podcast because you said some nice things about him. Tony got drunk. He got a DUI. It happens to a lot of people. He didn't behave in a particularly awful way. He was fine. There are some things we can nitpick about the way he interacted with the officer. But my God, just take your fucking lumps, dude. You got a DUI. You're obviously drunk.
24.
I'll take an additional 1017. He's
I'm okay
not
doing
stepping
it,
out of the
but
vehicle for field.
I'll do it. I'm just saying that I'm not allowed to call my lawyer first.
Any available squad can head to backward 3000 mile to back up to
I'm
417.
not allowed to. I'm not
You
allowed
are pending an OWI with an investigation.
to.
Operating while intoxicated.
Okay, that's what
All right, so she just said it's a DUI investigation operating while intoxicated. And he looked at her and he goes, and that's what you think I'm doing? Yes, as it is. It is what I think you're doing.
Okay, that's what
I want you to step out of the vehicle.
Oh, there we go. We get to see her for the first time. My God, she's got like the hell kind of haircut is that? What is she, Grace Jones from 1986? Seriously, does she have a flat top, like almost Kid and Play kind of thing happening?
Alright, so you're going to step in front of my vehicle? Step in front of my vehicle.
If I put this right here?
Step in front of my vehicle, yes.
We'll back on this. He'll be cleared at C20 shortly.
What is he doing? Is he filming it for his own personal? Look at the way he set the phone up there. Do you see this? Like, does he think he's on to something? Like, he's like, yes, I'm going to film them while they film me. Somebody tell him this.
24 squads, slow it down. He's out of the vehicle. I'll be conveying him to the Sally Port for field.
I'm fine. It's fine.
Turn around for me.
Additional squads
There's a good chance that...
Patting you down for weapons, okay? No weapons on you?
you?
Okay, alright. You're detained pending an OWI investigation. Deputy Core, sir.
Are you going to take me through the... I thought you were taking me through it.
So, as of right now, we're on a leveled ground. We're on a bridge. I want to convey you somewhere that's going to be an even surface, free of debris.
Yes, I agree, so we don't get hit.
Turn around for me.
I get you. We need the gloves.
Yep.
We need the cups. All right, let's see.
That's a negative.
Let's get to the garage. Here he is. He's being arrested now.
Tired of your missing
You're going to make me watch a
You
commercial?
don't have to wait to get your new smile. You can get it in just
24 hours.
I'd like a new smile. All right, let's go. All right, so this is apparently back at the police. He's going to be... Oh, no, this is, this must be the... See, this looks to me, because I've seen a lot of body cam, this looks to me like it's back at the police department. He's about to be, you know, put in a cage. But it also looks, because she had said to him that they were going to move from that location because it was an uneven surface, and she wanted to give him, you know, the body cam, the field sobriety test on level ground. So maybe this is where they went. I don't know if this is the police station, but here we go. Tony doing a little stretching. Stretching's very important.
Has he been searched or like petted on check for weapons? Okay.
So these other cops know he's Tony Romo, right? Even if she doesn't, and she may not. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know that he's all that recognizable to people who don't, you know, watch NFL football, and I know most of us do. But I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
She's been perfect.
What is he doing?
I'll probably do the same if I was in her shoes.
He's just doing field sobriety tests, and he's acting like he's going to run wind sprints. All right.
Just stand in the middle for me, sir.
Tony Romo, field sobriety test.
And you're just going to turn around. You're going to have stand facing me. Feet together.
He's yawning. What am I, boring you,
Just
Tony?
slight half step forward off the push bar. Perfect. Thank you.
Feet together.
Sorry. I was like, do you want to walk?
Feet together, arms down at your side. Okay? Any head injuries? Any head injuries?
Like any head injuries? Well, quite a few, actually.
Any concussions?
Why he's laughing?
Well,
See, he's in an awkward spot here in this moment where he doesn't know if these people know who he is and can he expect special treatment for being a celebrity. Like, she just asked him, do you have any head injuries? And he's like, look, clearly, if you know about Tony Romo, you know that he's suffered a number of concussions and, he's had a lot of injuries in that way. But he's now in this moment, he's like looking around. He's like, hey, anybody know who I am? That's pretty funny, right?
over the years, yes. Well, over the years, yes, but not recently. No.
Over the years, yes, but not recently. Okay, very good. They ain't playing your celebrity game, Tony.
Okay. So please stand with your feet together and your hands down at the side. Do not do it. Please stand with your feet together and your hands down at your side. Do not do anything until I tell you. Do you understand?
Do you want shoes on?
What do you prefer?
Whatever you want.
See, this is part of the test. She just said stand there with your feet together and your hands at your side and don't do or say anything. And then if you can't do that, like you're like, well, you want me to take my shoes off? I just asked you to not say or do anything. Part of the trick. These are tricky.
Okay. I'm going to check your eyes. Please keep your head still during the test.
Okay.
Look at the stimulus and follow the movement of the stimulus with your eyes only.
All right.
Keep looking at the stimulus until the test.
I don't care about this.
Just tell me. Am I looking at it or?
You're going to look at the top of my pen. Stimulus. Okay?
So my eyes are rolling. Got it.
Yes. Okay, a couple passes, okay?
Yeah, so I'm following this as you move. That's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Okay, got it.
Am I supposed to move my head or am I supposed to keep it square?
Would you like the instructions one more time, sir?
One more time with the instructions. Can't follow instructions. Look, if you're doing a field, you better fucking dial in and follow those instructions, because not being able to follow the instructions is one of the things they're looking for. Follow the instructions. Don't move your head, Tony. My God. Yeah, he's doing terrible, by the way. He's doing terrible at this.
That's
So, eyes and eyes
just
only.
the eyes.
Yep.
That's what I was saying.
So, I've always learned or been told from high-profile attorneys that if you are ever popped for a DUI and you get into a situation where you're asked to do field sobriety, do not do the field sobriety. I was always told you don't do the field sobriety and you don't blow, because you do not give them any evidence to support what they think you've done, which is drive drunk. So and remember that you're being videotaped at all times in the back of the car. So maintain some kind of composure, because understand everything that you do after you get pulled over is being evaluated, if not in the moment by the officer, later by a judge. A judge will look at the videotape, so just be cool. He seems to be complying with the request for field sobriety, which again is something that I've always thought you're supposed to say no to. However, that may have changed, because as soon as they say breathalyzer, we'd like you to blow, that's when Tony Romo says, nope, not going to do that, can't do that. So maybe that's just like, you can do the field sobriety, and if you pass that, then you won't have to be asked to blow, and you'll be on your way. Maybe that's the lawyer's thinking. But if you blow, they now have pretty solid evidence that you've been drinking alcohol. So don't blow. Or do blow, right? I don't know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. Just take what I've just said and process it any way that you're comfortable with. Yeah, this looks like the garage of a police station. All right, come on. What are we doing here? I don't think his head is supposed to move. I think it's about his eyes, and his head is moving.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from
Here we go.
space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your exact...
I can do it with Google Maps now. More of Tony Romo's DUI investigation, body cam footage.
Start over. Walk and turn instructions. You're going to picture a straight line in front of you.
Okay.
Place your left foot on the line. Yellow mat.
He's wearing the Eastern Illinois University. I'll tell you, Eastern Illinois University, for a university none of you have ever heard of. Why would anyone ever hear? They're just like a small, stupid school. They've got a lot of pros, man. A lot of big-time people. Eastern Illinois University. There was a time in the NFL when there were 4 head coaches who went to the University or Eastern Illinois University. Sean Payton being one.
So take your left foot, put it on that line. Place your right foot on the line ahead of your left foot.
Okay.
Put the heel of your right foot against the toe.
All right, let's go out, Tony. Let's go.
Yep, just like this. Left foot on the line, right foot directly in front of it, arms down at your side while she explains the rest of the instructions.
Stay here.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Now what am I doing from there?
Place your arms down at the side. Okay? Keep your arms down at the side. Maintain this position until I've completed the instructions. Do not start to walk until you're told to do so.
Okay.
Do you understand the instructions so far?
I got it.
When I tell you to start, take 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. Turn and take 9 heel-to-toe steps.
What does that mean by turn?
All right, you get the idea. Yeah, it's Tony Romo's body cam video. We need to go any further, but you get the idea. Tony was drunk. My whole point in this and bringing this up is that I believe that most retired sports athletes, pros, I believe that most of them are alcoholics. Hockey, absolutely. You ever meet a retired hockey player? He'll be drunk when you meet him. He will be drunk. And a guy like Tony Romo, I mean, I kind of understand it. You know, what is Tony? 40-something? He's not an old man. He's 40-something. He's got just more money than God. Like, he's made more money with CBS as Jim Nance's partner than he ever made in the NFL, probably. He's got more money than God. He works 5 months a year. When does he got to wear? He works 1 day a week, 5 months a year. That's his gig, and he makes like $100 million for that for the 5 weeks, 5 or 5 months a year, whatever. 20 games. How many games is Tony Romo doing that he's making $100 million? He's got nothing but time on his hands. So what do these guys do? Well, they like to stay active and they like to go out. So at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon or a Wednesday morning, they join a country club. And these young athletes just go and hang out at the country club all fucking day. And they golf and they, because a lot of them will tell you that they miss that jocular being in the locker room, being around other guys, and that golf can replicate some form of competition and that you can still have some of that if that's what you need. And what do you do in the downtime at a golf club? You drink. And that's all they do is drink. So, yeah, I imagine Tony Romo probably has an alcohol problem, and he has now stated that he may be stepping away. I'm sure CBS is going to have something to say about that. They just paid him $100 million. But he says he may be stepping away to, fix some things. And maybe you don't drink anymore. Oh, that's going to be hard for Romo. He's from Wisconsin. He's a retired athlete. My God. Everything is just saying that he is going to be an alcoholic for the rest of his life. But there you have it. As long as he doesn't embarrass himself, the family, CBS, or the Cowboys, he's going to be just fine. Tony Romo video breakdown. All right, let's talk about... let's do this. I want to talk a little bit about the WNBA and the story that was going around this morning, because apparently the WNBA's official, social media account, was it a tweet? They tweeted this and then immediately deleted it. And I imagine they immediately deleted it because they put it up and somebody high up in the WNBA saw it, picked up the phone and said, "Get that off!" And then they deleted it. So what did they delete? Well, apparently last week here in Chicago, I didn't even know this was going on. Last weekend was the WNBA All-Star Weekend, and it was here in Chicago. It was literally about 3 miles away from where I am. I had no idea what was going on. No idea. Didn't know about it till this morning when this thing broke. And I went, well, when was the All-Star? And then I see it was last weekend. Anyway, here you have it. This is page buckets from your Dallas what? I don't even know what they're called. Dallas Wings. Let's call them the Dallas Wings. And Angel Reese, the provocative Angel Reese. Sexy Angel Reese. I think she's hot. Here's Angel Reese and Paige Bookers. I don't know what her name is.
At All-Star.
I call her Paige Buckets. Why? Because I don't watch the WNBA. Maybe we can get into that, but it's not as awful as the reason you probably think. Anyway, here you go. This was posted by the WNBA's official account today. It's Paige Bookers and Angel Reese making a little All-Star Weekend bet.
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
First of all, her response shows that she knows way more about the collective bargaining agreement between the WNBA and owners. She knows way more about this rule than the person asking her. Watch the way she is responding. She knows she's not supposed to talk about betting, especially on games she's playing in.
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay rich. You gotta save this money. I'm gonna see you next week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
At night?
No, at practice.
Oh, at practice? I mean, I know y'all gonna lose, but if y'all lose, I get to have that. If y'all win, you get it 400. I get 400. And if we lose, then you get. No, you owe me 400.
Did you get that? Did you get what just happened there? This Paige Buchers chick doesn't know how betting works. Angel Reese had to explain to her that if she lost, she then had to pay her. And Paige was like, wait, what? So if I win, I get the money. These are obviously not high-level gamblers. However, this is a problem. This is a problem for the league, and it's an embarrassment for whoever. The social media person who posted this is fired. There is no reason that I can think of that you would keep this person around when they don't understand the history of gambling and American sports. Let's keep watching.
Bet. I'm saying on it.
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay rich.
All right, so there you go. That's a problem. Why is that a problem? Why is betting banned? Well, first of all, leagues don't want this kind of behavior because it, first and foremost, threatens the integrity of the sport. You can't have people, and I know that this is complicated now because all of a sudden everybody's a sports gambler because of DraftKings and all this stuff, and the leagues themselves are making money hand over fist, promoting to the fans the notion of gambling, and it's okay, right? You would think that if the league is cashing all these checks for all these different gambling entities, by the way, something we never saw until about 5 years ago, but you would think that that is at least a tacit endorsement of the idea of gambling. However, when it comes to their own players, that is a no-no, whether we're talking NHL, NFL, MLB, it doesn't matter. Look at Pete Rose, for crying out loud. You're not allowed to even pretend to be interested in wagering, especially not on games you're participating in, because obviously it's about integrity of the sport. There is a zero-tolerance blanket ban on gambling in all major American sports, okay? It says here, the zero-tolerance ban. The NFL gambling policy specifies that personnel cannot place, solicit, or facilitate any bet directly or through a third party on game outcome scores or individual performances. If the public learns that opposing players have financial arrangements tied to winning or losing, it damages the league's credibility and invites suspicion of match fixing, right? Makes perfect sense. That's why you just don't... But you could also understand how these new young athletes might be a little confused by this since they're wearing, jerseys with DraftKings patches on it. Let's go through the other leagues, okay? Because, by the way, WNBA is exactly the same as all of these other leagues. Here are the gambling policies as far as the leagues, how they treat players who engage in gambling. In the NFL, can players bet on their own league? No. Not in the NFL. You cannot bet on NFL games in the NFL. Absolute ban on all games, drafts, and prop events in the NFL for NFL players. In the NFL, can they bet on other sports? Yes, they can. permitted only on personal time outside of team facilities. You cannot be an NFL player betting on the World Series from the team facilities. That is a no-no. But if you want to go do it from, the McDonald's parking lot across the street, you're fine. The key rule for NFL gambling is no gambling of any kind at team facilities, hotels, or during road trips. But if you want to gamble on another sport that's not NFL football, go for it, they say. In the NBA, there's another absolute ban, just like they have there in the NFL. Can players in the NBA bet on other sports? Yes, they can, just like in the NFL. Major League Baseball. Can players bet on their own league? No. This was the whole Pete Rose thing. We suspected that he was betting on his own team's performance. He would never agree to that, so he was banned from baseball. Major League Baseball says no, banned entirely. Betting on your own team triggers a lifetime ban. See Pete Rose. That's what Rose went through. Can baseball players, Major League Baseball players, bet on other sports? It says yes. They are permitted to bet on other sports, just not baseball. NHL, same as the NBA and NFL and Major League Baseball. There's an absolute ban on gambling. NHL players are also allowed to bet on outside sports, just not their own sport. So why is this a problem now for Paige and Angel in the video that was posted by the WNBA official account? Because they are clearly violating the stated rules of the WNBA and the collective bargaining agreement. They are in violation. They should be suspended. They should have but here's why I'm saying this is complicated. They don't seem like they know. They don't seem like they seem ignorant. And I know that ignorance is no excuse, right? You always hear that. No, ignorance is no excuse for violating the rule of law or whatever it is. But those people, they seem like they just didn't know. And it didn't seem nefarious. And you can see how it'd be. I don't know what to do there. I don't know what to do. I do know this. You got to fire that social media person. The social media person who didn't know that is something that you cannot put out on the official WNBA account is somebody that shouldn't work. They shouldn't be working there. Barney, going back to the Tony Romo thing, he says, Uber needs a service where an Uber driver brings another driver to you to drive your car. How much money you got to invest? That's a great business idea. I got to tell you. Car fetching. A car fetcher. I'll drive your car. Well, why wouldn't you just drive somebody home then? Why wouldn't you just be a car fetcher? That's the business, Barney. Look at what we're doing here. Barney, we just started a business. We can eliminate Uber altogether. Here's the business. You and I just go around driving drunk people home. They're like at a bar. They don't want to get in their car. We show up. You follow me. We need 2 people. Yeah, that's what it is. It's got to be 2 people. So we got to show. So guy's in the parking lot of his bar. He's like, I'm too drunk to drive. He calls us on the Barney and Pugs app. And then me and Barney show up, and then I get in the car, and I drive drunky home, and Barney follows me. What do you think that costs? We're going to have to figure out the margins. Anyway, great idea there, Barney. That's a great idea. You're right. That is a service that we should probably look into. Dick of the day. I don't want to do Dick of the day. I got to be out of here before 2 o'clock, and we are running out. We will get into we'll do a Dick of the day tomorrow. If we do a show tomorrow. I think we're doing a show tomorrow. I hope we're doing a show tomorrow. But it's another heavy story. It's a sad story about a complete asshole who had a super powerful boat and drove it like an asshole, and now somebody's dead, and we'll get into that tomorrow. Dick of the day. All right, let's do 3 videos. Let's wrap the show up by doing 3 videos. These are 3 videos that I've found on the internet that I think are just hysterical, very fun. Wanted to talk a little bit about them. But before we do that one more time, it is the end of the month. I want to thank our July heroes. These are the people who tipped the show, helped us to do a show the next day, right? You tip, I do a show. It's how it works. Haven't received tips in weeks because there's only so many days in the month. Anyway, thank you to our July heroes. Al, Jen, April, Heidi, Tracy, Maddie, Peter, Barney, Mama B, Mikey D, and Leslie C. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you. Help support this kind of talk radio. The kind of talk radio doesn't care how you voted. Drop a little something, whether it be in the Cash App or the Venmo. This is how we get by. All right, let's do 3 videos. 3 videos. Like I say, every day I like to put together 3 viral videos that I've seen floating around. And we just watch them. All right, here we go. Here's the first one, 3 videos. Okay, this is a guy over in England. I call this one, this is like straight out of Benny Hill. This is video 1. All right, here we go. This is a guy who's being chased by a cop. They don't have, well, the first time I saw this, I'm like, well, this is what happens when the cops don't have guns. But you can't just shoot a guy for doing this. What this guy is doing, you can't shoot him, right? So what would the difference be if the English cop has a gun or not? Anyway, this is pretty great. All it's missing is the Benny Hill. Oh, this was from England. You see this guy, he's running from cops.
You fucking cunt. Go on, get him. Go on, son. Oh, he's on him. He's fucked. He's gone down the pier. He's fucked. He's fucked. He's gone down the pier now.
All right, so you understand. he's being chased by this cop through what looks like some sort of a waterfront or beach community here in England. He's being chased by this cop, and he runs on a pier, and, you know, this is not a good, what are you going to do? You're going to jump in the water and then what, swim? So this is looking like curtains for this guy. And as I say, all we need is the Benny Hill theme here.
He ain't getting away. He ain't going nowhere. He's fucked. He's got 2 options. Yeah, he's finished.
So what are his 2 options? Well, you can jump in the water and try and swim away, or what's the other option? Try and run through the cop? Like just turn and anyway, let's see how this happens. Because he does look cooked.
Is he going to try to swim off?
Oh, no. Okay, he seems to be giving up. He put his hands out. The officer is now approaching him. The officer's probably quite winded. He's been chasing him, I don't know how far, but it looked like a significant distance down the boardwalk before they got to this pier, and now it seems to be over.
Oh, he's caught him. Oh, what's he going to jump in? What's he playing at?
Seem to be talking. Oh! He threw the cop in the water. And now the chase continues. All right, here we go.
What's he playing at?
Throws the cop in there. Oh, jeez.
Oh, he's fucking diced him in the fucking water. Yes! He phoned him in. He fucked. You fucking leg.
See what I mean? Like, you want to say, well, it's British cops, they don't have guns. But you can't shoot a guy for this. You can't. If you try and justify, you're a dick. You can't just shoot some. This is hysterical. This guy deserves to get away. Although, quite frankly, we don't know what he did. Like, what if he did something really bad? But, you know, in this context, we figure it's just some kind of chaos trouble that he's in.
Funny cunt.
Oh, he's out.
He's coming.
This poor guy.
Oh, no.
They gotta wear those stupid yellow vests, too. Have you ever noticed that? Like, English cops, they all just look like dudes that are, you know, working on a sewer. They don't look like actual cops.
Oh, Chavy ain't giving up. I can't believe it's up there, mate. Come on. You're a bit slow, sir. You're a bit slow, sir. He went that way, you drip.
He went that way, you drip. All right, there you go. Like I said, the only thing missing there was the Benny Hill theme. All right, let's now look at number 2. Video number 2. You a big fan of Cameron Crowe? I like Cameron Crowe. I think he's a good writer, but I also think he's a fairly assured filmmaker as well. Almost Famous is one of my favorite. I think that's a very underrated movie. Anyway, Cameron Crowe was on a podcast talking about one of his other movies, which is, of course, Say Anything. Gen X, what is it? It's an iconic Gen X film, Say Anything. You know, with Lloyd Dobber, I believe is his name, Ione Skye and John Cusack. Anyway, here, Cameron Crowe was on a podcast. He was talking about, the iconic scene where John Cusack holds up the boombox and plays Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. It became a big sort of, Gen X movie moment. Cameron Crowe was on a podcast talking about that and how it could have been completely different because originally In Your Eyes wasn't the song that John Cusack was wanting to play. But here you have it.
This guy outside blasting this music, John Cusack, was loving his own music. He had like kind of a funk reggae song that he was playing called Bonin' in the Boneyard on the boombox when we filmed it.
Yeah.
And that definitely did not work. Because when you put that up against Ione Skye kind of being restless in bed, he really did seem like a guy who was like irritating her. Like, why is this guy outside blasting this music? It didn't work. Nothing worked until we found until I listened to a cassette in my car that had In Your Eyes on it, the Peter Gabriel song.
All right, there you have it. Isn't that fun? So Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes wasn't the original. Bonin' in the Boneyard. Let me see. I want to hear what that is. Let me look that up. Cameron Crowe with Richard Roper there on the Richard Roper podcast. How would you spell Bonin' in the Boneyard? Oh, okay. All right, here you go. This is the song that John Cusack originally wanted to play. This is Fishbone. I don't know this song. I was never a Fishbone guy. John Cusack, while holding the boombox above his head in the film Say Anything. Of course, we all know that is the moment that he blasted In Your Eyes, right? Peter Gabriel became this like just iconically Gen X romance moment. As we just heard from Cameron Crowe, here's the song he wanted to play. Or the song that he originally was playing. All right, we get the idea. It's just some awful, totally different, and Cameron Crowe went, that didn't work. Let's make it romantic. Let's do romance. All right, that's video number 2. 3 videos. Video number 2, Cameron Crowe with a fun fact. Here's one. This is kind of cool. Happy birthday to a legend. That's right. The great Buddy Guy turns 90 years old today. Blues musician extraordinaire. Buddy Guy saw him the night that Stevie Ray Vaughan died. The very last Stevie Ray. Yeah, I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan the night he died. Buddy Guy. We were there for Eric Clapton and Buddy Guy, and Stevie Ray was there as well. Buddy Guy's awesome. I've had the luxury of meeting him many times over the years. He doesn't know me. He's not a friend or anything, but he is an icon, and I fucking love that dude. So here's a little celebration of Buddy Guy on his 90th birthday. When I was in college, Buddy Guy's Legends, which is a really cool Chicago blues bar, that was sort of our campus hangout. Buddy Guy's Legends was adjacent to the Columbia campus there on Wabash in downtown Chicago. And so I used to hang out, and Buddy Guy is there all the time. I don't know about now because he's 90, but he used to be there all the time. And you would just see it walk in, and you'd see this music icon just walking around, just behind the bar. There was a guitar in a glass case, kind of like you would see a, like a fire extinguisher. Mr. Popular. There was a glass case, and it had his guitar in there, and it just simply said, "In case of the blues, break glass." And he was there every night, and whoever was playing on stage, if he felt like he wanted to, he would open up that case, he would pull his guitar, and he would just start walking around his own bar, accenting whoever. It's a Buddy Guy thing, and it's one of the coolest things ever. Everybody wants to play with Buddy. Anyway, here's an example of just Buddy hanging out at his own bar. It didn't used to be like this. This looks a little bit more organized, what with the roping off, but Buddy Guy famously, and again, I don't know about now because he's 90, but 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he would just walk around his bar, say hello to you while playing his guitar. It's very cool. Happy birthday to a true original. The great Buddy Guy turns 90 years old today. Let's watch him. See, This is his bar. This is just how he hangs out in his bar. And again, these ropes and all that. This is new. I mean, I haven't seen this type of thing, him do this in 30 years. But anyway, it's still cool that he's out there doing it. True legend, the great Buddy Guy. So cool. All right, that's 3 videos. Let's do Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark, okay? This is my daily celebration of America's fading pastime. That's right. Baseball used to be amazing, but now people don't like baseball. Although my 17-year-old kid, he likes it. I'm like, do your friends like baseball? He's like, no. I'm like, but you do? I do now. Okay. Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark. How about this? This came to us yesterday. I just want to show this because this is not fun at the old ballpark, but let me show you this. My son and I were watching this game yesterday, okay? My White Sox were in first place. We're playing the Yankees. We beat the Yankees last night, but we had to come from behind. It was very exciting. We walked them off in like the 12th inning. It was a great, great game. But starting in about the 9th inning, when the White Sox started to come back, the broadcast crew began focusing on a little boy in the stands, a little Yankee fan who was having one of the most traumatic nights of his life. And I have to tell you, sitting at home on my couch, I was laughing at this little kid. We were mocking him. Here he is, crying Yankees kid. This, I don't feel great about it today when I woke up, but here you go. This is what happened last night. The crying Yankees kid, because you can't beat fun at the old ballpark. Apparently you can.
And it sets the stage for Munetaka Murakami. Hey, kid, you won the first 2 games. No need to cry here, game 3. 2-0 to Benny. And the pickoff play goes into left field. Murakami gets up. He will score.
Go Bucket!
And we are tied here in the 11th. Dumps this one into center field. It's going to drop. Here comes Tristan Peters to play the play. Save! White Sox
Bucket!
And beat the Yankees in 12. And it sets the stage.
All right, there you go. Awful, right? That kid's adorable. Kid's adorable. Good for him. Oh, he's a Yankee fan. He's a front runner from the beginning. Are you kidding me? I feel bad about him having this traumatic night watching his team just fall apart in the 8th inning. No. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. I need to be out here at 2 o'clock, and I've already gotten my phone going up. People are waiting on me, so I do love you. I appreciate you being here. We're going to try and come back tomorrow. I don't know. It's a crazy week. Crazy. My kid's going home next week. I'm trying to fit a whole bunch of things in, so we'll see how that works. Anyway, one more time, thank you to our July heroes as we find ourselves here on the 30th day of the month. Do you want to join these proud folks and be added to our scroll of excellence? Please drop a little something in either the Venmo or the Cash App and help this show continue. This is how we move forward. We don't have any advertisers. I am not independently wealthy, so help the show if you can, and it would be greatly appreciated. We'll come back tomorrow at noon for more show, but honestly, folks, I got to get out of here. I love you all, and remember, stay neighborly.